welcome friends to another video. Welcome to another review. It's time for me to talk about the house of Mancera, and this time around I'm going to talk about a fragrance called Deep Forest. This is a fragrance that came to the market in 2019, and the nose behind this one is of course Pierre Montal. This is one of the most interesting and the strangest fragrances that I have in my collection. It's a very unique fragrance. This is a monster type of fragrance because it exudes a very good performance. Also, it has a very interesting composition with a very interesting behavior on skin and on fiber. And this is one fragrance that's very, very hard to actually categorize. Let's start with the composition of Deep Forest. We have in the top notes leather, incense, cloves, wood, bergamot, and orange. In the heart, we have orange blossom, violet, patchouli, and rose. And in the base, we get woody notes, amber, vanilla, vetiver, and musk, white musk. So quite a composition, quite a few ingredients. So this is a fragrance that develops quite a bit. Although in appearance, this is very linear, but you need to pay attention to what's going on behind the stage, because that's where you're going to see the beauty and the secrets of this composition. This is simply put, if you want, like you are taking a walk in a forest, in a deep part of a forest, in a sunny summer day after a good shower rain, if you want. And the further you go into the forest, the darker it becomes. Also, the humid soil becomes more apparent to your senses. All, let's say, the green accords surrounding you, the leaves from the trees and the branches and the bark from the trees and whatnot. So basically, it's a concoction of nature elements in one bottle. This is, to put it simple. To put it a bit more complex, this is quite a trip. It's quite a trip because you have those very heavy ingredients in the opening, such as the leather, incense, wood, and of course you have that beautiful aromatic sense coming from the cloves. Also, you get some orange and some bergamot, which, let's say, don't allow the fragrance to become too dark, so it keeps it a bit fresh. Also, in the heart, you get orange blossom, violet, patchouli, and rose. And in the heart, actually, this fragrance becomes a bit more fresher, also a bit more greener, if you want, because the orange blossom combined with the violet in this one manages to induce you that feeling of green and also powderiness coming from the violet. You also get some patchouli, which let's say combined with the rose gives you that dark impression, like you are going further deep into that forest. And in the base notes, you have those woody notes combined with amber, combined with vetiver, combined with musk, and also with vanilla. The vanilla in this one is quite simplistic. It isn't a dominant note. It basically comes in the composition only to, let's say, make the whole creation a bit more tolerable due to those woody accords, due to those, let's say, powdery notes. You also get some rose inside. Although quite intriguing, it's a bit scarce in this composition compared to other Mancera fragrances. So this is what this fragrance is all about. This isn't everyone's cup of tea. If you ask me, this is a mature fragrance. And when I say mature, I'm actually referring to people with experience when it comes to perfumery, when it comes to fragrances. This isn't a fragrance for those of you who are only starting their journey into the fragrance world. This is a very complex, but as I said, behind the scenes type of fragrance. It's very intriguing at the same time. You are trying to find similarities with other fragrances, and in my case, I did find some similarities with another fragrance that I own, and that one is called Aqua from the house of Martin Micallef. They somewhat share the same, let's say, I wouldn't say scent, but the same vibe, the same feeling. They are very enigmatic, they are very unique interpretations. They are something that you won't smell, let's say, every single day on everybody around you. So these are the similarities that it shares with Aqua from Martin Micallef. But other than that, there are two different fragrances with two complete different, let's say, ingredients. In terms of performance, this is a monster. This stays very, very long on my skin and on fiber. Also, it projects like crazy for many, many hours, and the sillage is simply amazing. I wouldn't recommend to go hard on the trigger with Deep Forest because it's such a strong fragrance. So I would actually say that less is better with this one. So be very careful when you apply, how much you apply, especially in what area you apply. I would actually encourage you to avoid the nose area because it may induce headaches and whatnot. It's very strong, it's very powerful, it's a scent that really knows how to grab attention from people around you. So if you're in, I don't know, if you're looking for this type of fragrances, if you love this type of fragrances, this is a perfect fragrance for you. When it comes to gender, this is definitely a male fragrance. I would not, this time around, recommend females to try this fragrance. They can always do it, of course, because nobody's stopping them. But this to me is a male fragrance. Therefore, I highly recommend it to men. And as I said, I highly recommend it to men with mature noses, with a lot of experience, in order to understand the true beauty of Deep Forest and the complexity that it has. A very interesting fragrance made for special occasions. If you're asking me, this isn't a fragrance that you should actually wear when going out to meet with your friends, sipping a coffee or whatnot. Although I do see this one being worn casually, especially if you are taking a walk in nature, because due to those woody and green, earthy ingredients and accords, it kind of feels like home. And also, I do see this one being worn, especially at formal occasions, dressed up, because this is actually the best scenario for Deep Forest. So this pretty much does it. This is Mancera Deep Forest, a very interesting, very intriguing, quite unique fragrance. And if you don't want to wear what the vast majority of people are wearing, then I highly recommend it. But as always, first I recommend you buy a decant or a sample, test it out on your skin, see how it performs, see how it behaves, see what ingredients you get out of the composition, and only afterwards, based on your own conclusions, decide if you're willing to pay or not the money for a full bottle. This is the best advice that I can give you. Always, always sample before buying a full bottle. This pretty much does it, guys. I'm gonna see you in the next one. As always, be safe, be good, and remember, smell good, feel good. Peace.